Well, Sunrise just launched our Summer Meals for Kids initiative in partnership with Second Harvest Heartland, because once school is out, the need for food only grows. And Alicia, this campaign here was something that you pushed for after some recent news involving food insecurities at the state capitol.
Yeah, about 3 months ago, you may remember Governor Walz signed the free school meals bill into law. So starting this coming school year, all kids in the state of Minnesota are going to get free breakfast and free lunch, which is really a game changer for so many families. But I want to go back a little further down memory lane, leading up to this moment, because of a comment made by a Minnesota senator during the debate about this very bill to provide food to kids in need. It didn't sit well with me, and I know I wasn't alone because it went viral. So take a look.
Mr. President, I have yet to meet a person in Minnesota that is hungry. Yet today. I have yet to meet a person in Minnesota that says they don't have access to enough food to eat.
That's Republican Senator Steve Drazkowski, who represents the southeastern part of our state. It was his rhetoric that made me want to do a little more research and shine a light on the food insecurities in southeastern Minnesota. In his district alone, many kids fall below the federal poverty line. Numbers from the Department of Health show more than 10% in Winona County, 8.5% in Wabasha County, and 13.3% in Goodhue County. So I went to Rochester to visit the largest food bank in his region to learn more about the growing need.
Just because someone isn't on the corner with a sign saying I'm hungry doesn't mean they're not experiencing food insecurity.
Virginia Merritt is the executive director for Channel One Regional Food Bank in Rochester, Minnesota, serving 14 counties and an average of 5,600 households a month.
When grocery prices really started rising about a year ago, we saw a direct increase in the amount of people who needed extra food from us.
Virginia tells me this past March was the busiest month in the food bank's history.
The families that come into our food shelf are stressed out. People who have never had to ask for help before are having to come ask for help because they just can't afford the 11% increase in groceries. People's wages did not immediately go up in proportion to the increased grocery prices. So while there are a lot of jobs available, the wage is not enough to pay for the massive inflationary increase in grocery prices.
With incredibly high grocery prices and many pandemic programs ending, like the extra SNAP benefits, also known as food stamps, Virginia says families are struggling to make ends meet.
Some households saw a decrease of $250 a month in groceries.
The Channel One food shelf saw a 30% increase in visits in 2022 compared to 2021. In the first quarter of this year, families visiting the food shelf increased another 15%.
We hear all the time that people avoided coming to Channel One until they were watering down the milk, until mom wasn't eating lunch, because they didn't want to ask for help. They want to be able to support their families, but we want people to come here before they're at that desperation point. It's important that people know that the need is out there and that food insecurity is often unseen or silent.
So, safe to say there are hungry people here in Minnesota.
That's true. So the need, as she mentioned, the need really is out there. When we were there, I was there for about 2, maybe 3 hours. It was nonstop. The parking lot was full. Families from all walks of life. I saw a lot of single moms with young kids with them going into the food bank. And so I did reach out to Senator Drazkowski to see if he wanted to come and see for himself in his office several times. I got a statement through the Republican Party. So in part, he says, we live in a time in history where we have the safest, cheapest, and most abundant food supply in the history of the world. He goes on to say every kid who wants breakfast or lunch gets it. He was referring to government programs that are already in place. And I have his full statement and more on how you can actually help your neighbors who may be dealing with some food insecurities right now posted on our website and with this story at KARE11.com.
Great insight on that. Great story.